stunned for several seconds. How could you be so spineless? The emperor said in disbelief. I thought you were going to say that once you were no longer the crown prince, you wouldn't need to worry about the face of the royal family and the empire, and you could snatch her back from another man. I could never do that, because you always keep in mind the manners of being a prince. Because I no longer have the right to do that. Because of my cowardice. The emperor remained silent for a long time before nodding. So, Your Majesty, stop, Your Majesty. Slap yourself a few times before you continue. Andre really slapped himself hard several times, until his ears were ringing. Does it hurt? The emperor asked coldly. It doesn't hurt. Keep hitting it if it doesn't hurt. Yes, sir. Even though Andre's face was swollen beyond recognition, he still cried out that it didn't hurt. However, the emperor couldn't bear to watch any longer and forced him to stop. The emperor was at his wits' end with his foolish son. Andre, you may go back. The emperor waved his hand, trying to get rid of his foolish son. Your Majesty, then you are still the crown prince of the empire, my undisputed sole heir, the emperor said calmly. Your Majesty, Andre cried out anxiously. Shut up, the emperor snapped impatiently. He stood up and grabbed Andre, lifting him off the ground. He's taller than me, and he's still so ignorant. The emperor frowned. Andre lowered his head and remained silent. Your biggest mistake is not wanting to give up the position of crown prince or my expectations, but that you actually thought you could give up these things just because you wanted to. You want to disobey the emperor's decree? Wait until you become emperor. Now get back to class. After the emperor finished speaking in a bad mood, he cast a healing spell, which healed all of Andre's major and minor injuries. Father, I will not give up, Andre said stubbornly. Are you done talking? Can you get out of here now? The emperor rolled his eyes. Yes, sir. Andre left the study. Close the door. Yes, sir. The emperor stayed inside alone, repeatedly getting angry and then laughing in exasperation. After several such episodes, he finally sat back down to read, his expression completely normal, not at all bothered by the little incident that had just occurred. As Andre strode confidently back to the academy, someone suddenly blocked his way. Brother, shouldn't you be at the academy at this time? Why are you back? The speaker was a boy of about 14 or 15 years old. His handsome face, still somewhat immature, was already enough to charm countless girls, especially when he smiled like this. Is it Shira? Andre looked at his second brother. It's nothing. He just has something to discuss with father. Sheila frowned slightly. Big brother, you seem to be troubled by something. Can you tell me? I'd like to help you out. You don't need to worry about that. Just stay home and take good care of your younger siblings for your mother. Big brother. Sheila grasped Andre's arm and shook it gently. You're such a grown man, still acting like a child. Andre frowned. Big brother, I'm not a child anymore. I want to go to school too, Sheila said angrily. Go and tell your father about this. Please, plead for me. That's enough. We can talk about it when I get back tonight. Andre shook off his brother's hand and walked away. The second prince, Shira, stood rooted to the spot, expressionless as he watched his elder brother, the crown prince, depart, his eyes filled with a deep, dark aura. Chapter 54, Cohabitation with a Replacement. Oh dear, if you're so shy, you shouldn't have kissed me earlier. You even ambushed me, giving me no time to react. Honestly, the two were walking back to the classroom. It was class time, and the area outside the classroom was quite empty. Ivisa kept turning her face away, refusing to let him see her current expression. If you force your way in to look, she'll produce a fireball in her hand that's so bright it's blinding. Perseus was incredibly curious, but even though he said such a vulgar thing, Ivisa wouldn't let him have his way. However, this slight regret was just a minor inconvenience. He was excited about the surge in obedience he had just experienced. What seemed like an unexpected surprise was actually entirely under his control. Who told him to be a man who had read the original novel? He already had a firm grasp on this woman's personality. People like Ivisa, to put it bluntly, are born with a disability. They have fewer emotions and desires than ordinary people, and they are indifferent to everyone, even their own family. However, this indifference is merely a facade, not her true nature. Actually, she's the type who is cold on the outside but warm on the inside, but she's more extreme than the average person. Its exterior is cold like an iceberg, while its interior is hot like a flame. You must break through that layer of cold, thick, and hard ice that has stood for millennia before you can have a chance to feel its heat. To do that is virtually impossible. This is not only a double ordeal of physical and mental suffering, but also a long period of time and the cruel torment of a sliver of hope. You feel you can withstand her indifference, sleep on the ceiling, do your best to meet all her demands, be considerate and attentive, and accept that she closes her heart to you just like she does to others, making you feel like you're completely superfluous. If you can persevere for a day, you can persevere for a month, you can persevere for a year. What about 3 years? 5 years? 10 years? How many decades does a person have in their lifetime? How many times can a person's heart withstand such merciless and cold-hearted abrasion? When you feel your energy waning, your youth fading away, and the iceberg still standing, even after exhausting all your passion, you haven't managed to cover a single hole, will you feel despair? Will you regret what you've done? Do you resent her coldness and ruthlessness? Can you bear not only your own pain, but also the ridicule and sarcasm of others, and even their pity and sighs? The answer is self-evident. Few people in this world could do that. Even a man as passionate